What are you doing? Hey there, darlings. Welcome back to Roots and Refuge Farm. So I have approximately like maybe 15 minutes of dusky sunlight left. You can see that beautiful scene behind me. We just got home from the baccalaureate service for Asher's graduation. I think a church service that they do to just honor the grads. So it was sweet. I actually have not stepped foot in my garden today. It has been a very busy day, and this week is kind of going to be that way. I figured if I was going to go down here and have a little bit of time, I would bring y'all with me. Look at that beautiful view. I am so closely watching these berry bushes. These are actually thornless blackberries. Oh, they're all going to turn dark. And actually, some of these mounds are empty from things not doing well, and some of the things we're going to move over to the new berry beds probably this week. Oh, look. See, these blueberries have just not thrived because I haven't been able to give them what they need in their soil, and that's kind of part of why we're moving it. I'm still going to use these pit swales. I'm just going to put trees in them instead of berries. I think it will be better. Oh, wow. So this bush has gotten pretty big. This raspberry bush, but it only has this one little bit. I didn't even realize these had fruit on them. These taste so good. So I went this afternoon. Bosco, my horse, is working with a trainer. He's at her house and she's working with him, and I went over today. She kind of like worked with me with him to kind of help me grow in confidence. I rode horses a lot when I was a kid, but I haven't really ridden them just a ton as an adult, and it was really fun. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. She's actually been coming to the house, and she's been helping our kids learn. And they ride Josie because she's like the one that's super kid friendly and bomb proof and safe. Bosco, he's just, the way she put it today, which I appreciate her knowledge on horses, but the way she put it today was that he is really, really eager to work, and a lot of times when horses are trained a certain kind of way, you have to kind of rewire their thinking. So he was trained to work, he's eager to work, he's very intelligent, and so he's having to learn now to just be willing to also stand still and to just chill and be at rest and know that we're okay with that too. Oh, it's very good. So I just stopped here at the tomato bed, and I was gonna note this. I showed this tomato plant when it first came up and said it was a volunteer. Wasn't sure what it was. This is definitely a spoon tomato. So these grow kind of wild, and once you have them, you always have them. And I recognize it because the stems are like super smooth. I think it's also called teaspoon, and I think I've seen them called like post office box teaspoon, but they have these really tiny little flowers. See here? And they make these teeny tiny tomatoes. I really like them. This isn't really the best place for it at the end of this bed, but I didn't plant another tomato here because this was growing, so I'll probably let it grow, but I'm gonna have to prune it back. If you let one of these just grow big on the ground, I mean, it'll be like 5 feet around in this massive mound and tons of tiny little tomatoes. Check that out. Got some early fruits. This plant's a little small to be putting fruit on, but I'm gonna let it go because I know that it's pretty established in its roots. I planted these deep. Sometimes when I have a freshly planted plant, I will go ahead and pull the first fruits off, but once it's that big, it's fine for it to be starting to fruit. Ah, look here. Shall we have our yearly lesson about faciated blooms? This one's really not a bad one. A lot of times the early blooms that heirloom tomatoes put on will be faciated, so I was looking for like a really gnarly one to show y'all. So just like super fast basics of botany for those of you who either have spent no time in gardens or perhaps you're watching with your children and they haven't known this. But so some plants make fruit. What a fruit is the seed bearing structure of a plant, or for all intents and purposes you could say it's like the ovary of a plant. And all plants are growing to try to carry on their kind. They're just trying to make seeds. They're just trying to further the generations of their type. And in the case of tomato plants, they put on these blooms. These blooms get pollinated, and then the fruit begins developing. Basically the petals fall off, and then this ends up being that little green part on the stem on the top of the tomato. Now if you think like a plant for a minute and you think, okay, I'm a plant and I want to make seeds because I want to guarantee the continuation of my kind. What would be a really great way to get those seeds to be spread? Well, the reason why fruits are so tasty and fragrant and juicy and flavorful and colorful for all different types of plants, they come in all different types of flavors and colors, is that that plant is just trying to make that fruit, that seed-bearing structure, enticing for something to come and eat it. And that is why, like for the instance of tomatoes, a lot of times the seeds are covered in like a gel casing because they're actually meant to be able to survive through a digestive tract of something that might come and eat that fruit. So it's all part of the plan to further its kind through seeds. And sometimes you get really cool little anomalies that happen. So like this is called a faciated blossom, and this one is just like, it looks like just two blooms together. Where this is actually two flowers that have grown fused together. And you can tell because it's significantly larger than the others. And these will actually, like here's a regular blossom right here, and then the faciated blossom, as you can see there. Faciated blossoms are going to grow essentially kind of like conjoined fruits. They're going to be two fruits that grow together. And if I see really big, kind of gnarly faciated blossoms, I won't always pull off one like this that's just like a double joined. But sometimes you'll see that's like 4, 5, 6 flowers joined together, especially on heirlooms. And I personally, most of the time, will pull those off. The reason why faciated blossoms, when they're growing fruits that are, it literally is like 3 or 4 different fruits that are fusing together. So they don't always ripen at the same pace. So you will have like this massive wonky tomato that only half of it is turning color and the other half is still green. And the other thing is that they can end up with kind of like rot spots up in there. So when you see those really gnarly blossoms, oh, here's one. See that? That looks like 1, 2, 3. That looks like 3 blossoms fused. And you can leave them. They're interesting experiments. They don't always create a ton of production, so a lot of times I'll just go ahead and pull these off. I feel like so many things in the garden, if we're troubleshooting and we're trying to figure out like what to do and how to make things thrive, so many things, I think if we would just begin to consider like, what would this do if I wasn't involved? How is this designed to work? What is nature trying to do here? That has helped me so much in a lot of the things that I'm trying to figure out how to do. If I'll just pause and ponder, so that I'm not working against nature, but so that I'm working with it. I swear everything grows like an inch a day at least at this point. Just redirecting all of these melons and cucumbers back up the trellises. Didn't really come out to the garden to snack, but listen, if the feast is laid, I'm gonna enjoy it. Asher's graduating this week. He turns 18 on Wednesday, and then he graduates on Friday. We got family coming in. His dad and Gammy and her husband, they're all coming. And then my mom will be here on Wednesday. I gotta pick her up at the airport, so that's exciting. Guys, look at this. These tomatillo plants smell so good. They smell like a spicier version of a tomato. I think I'm starting to get some tomatillos set. They're still empty. But I'm going to keep a close eye on this. Salsa verde is in my future, and it looks like by the look of this, it's going to be a lot of salsa verde in my future. Wow. I just haven't been out here today. I was out here yesterday morning, and extensive growth. Like, my goodness. Like, these literally grew over a foot since the last time I saw them. Seriously. I remember I had that talk with you all last week about letting the low end drag. That was definitely a talk for myself, because as I'm walking through this garden, I'm like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. Somebody told me that my mystery critter in the roof was they thought it may be a starling, because the bird that was hollering at me, they said looked like a starling. And I'm pretty sure that bird just came out of the roof and she's hollering at me. So that may be actually accurate. Maya and I were discussing, I have to weed whack this. Maya and I were discussing what we're doing the first half of this week, since we have such a busy second half of the week. And we set some pretty lofty goals out here in the garden. I think we're going to try to get a lot knocked out before we have, you know, a handful of days where we won't be in here. You want to peep in on the greenhouse baby birds? I thought I heard it buzzing. I don't know what that was. And just like that, my light is gone. There's never really enough garden time, is there? Oh, this is a new iris that's opened. I haven't seen this one yet. Wow. Y'all, I was just out here pruning these tomatoes just like a minute ago. It feels like it's just a couple of days and they've grown so much. We got to get the trellises in. I was thinking I would have this week before I had to put the trellises in, but these tomatoes are kind of getting to the point where they're going to need the support. Maya is wanting to put the shade cloth up before we put the trellises up. You know, I have a whole stack of, they're the tomato cages that you see for sale for tomatoes at the store. They're really not sufficient for an indeterminate tomato plant. I have them because I like to stake pepper plants in them, but I could potentially put those around these tomatoes to buy a little more time to give them support before, you know, the shade cloth's up, before we can put those trellises in. Maya finished all of the berry boxes and started laying them out and filling them, so this will be done tomorrow, and hopefully I can get all those berries in the ground. You know, I often come walk down my driveway during this time of day and then get back to the house once it's fully dark. It's just peaceful. During this time of year and further into the summer, when I walk past the pond, it's like you can hear all the bullfrogs jumping off into the pond. They're pretty loud. I don't know if y'all can hear that. Can you hear it? Actually, let's go down here. I'll show y'all where I go on my evening walks. I walk down when it's real dusky like this, and obviously I don't usually bring a camera. And I resist the temptation to go traipsing through the high tunnels and thinking of all the things that I need to do. I mowed all of this yesterday. I actually love mowing. Now look at the compost pile. It's literally just a garden. That's what's going on here. Look at all the food that's growing on there. Right here I see pumpkins, lots of beans, there's tomato plants, sunflowers, bitter melons. What else? There's obviously more pumpkins over there. You know, I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna let all of this just grow. I'm gonna mow around it because, oh, there's some okra, more tomatoes. Glorious. Here is the evidence that seeds want to grow. This is all plants are trying to do. So upon the graduation week of my second son, and Asher runs 21 and he turns 18 on Wednesday. You know, I just went through this last year. Jackson graduated, and you know, the saying that I've heard over and over, the days are long but the years are short, is so true. It really has just flown by raising these boys into men. But I find myself thinking so often, like, time, slow down, you know. But what I have learned a lot in this last year, if I had to, like, summarize the lesson that I have learned in the last year of, like, pumping the brakes in my life and downsizing things and saying, it's fine if it takes some time. Let's let things take time. Is that if you really, really, really want time to slow down, well, it can't. It is what it is. It's going to pass by. But if you don't want to miss things, you have to slow down. So that's why I spend a lot of evenings sitting on the dock, oftentimes with my kids with me, because I don't want to miss anything. And time is going to keep going by this fast. This was the revelation that just blew my mind, and my children getting to the point of graduating and kind of launching into the next season of their lives. Was I was just like, wow, that's how fast a childhood goes by. Like, that's it. There it is. And that was what initially started the brakes pumping. And here's the thing. Nobody else can make you slow down and savor your life. Doesn't matter what they say, doesn't matter what they do, and nobody else can do it for you. If you really, really want it, and you keep shouting and trying and begging for other people to like help you slow down, you have to find the way to slow down, no matter what, in your own life. And yes, there are obligations that still have to be met. There are things that still have to be done. It's not to say that you're not going to work hard or even be busy at times, but it is a matter of presence and being fully there and taking the moments and just living your life on purpose. And nobody else can do that for you. If you are finding yourself saying, time, slow down, really what is actually happening is there's a part of you asking you, hey, slow down. Oh, the other day I showed a little clip of a critter. I was trying to figure out what it was, and a lot of you said you thought it might be a muskrat. I think you were right. I think it was a muskrat. I should just sit out here and listen to these for hours. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. And bless you. Until next time.